Hello dear friend. You're on the channel where ordinary passers-by become heroes and charred violins sing again. Each week we dive into true stories of faith, courage and the power of human kindness. Today I'll share a brand new journey with you, so grab a cup of coffee, settle in and let your heart hear the music that rises from the ashes. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like and tap the bell so you never miss a story. Let's go. On a sleepy Saturday morning, Manhattan's towers were still rubbing their glassy eyes when Jack O'Brien hurried up the avenue, mentally rehearsing Monday's pitch deck. Coffee cart steam curled into the brisk air, and the sun's first gold slid down the facades like melted brass. Outside Union Square Station he noticed a girl sitting on folded cardboard, a tin cup in her hands. Long chestnut hair fluttered in the subway draft, and a sign read, "Help a violin sing again." Jack stopped. This wasn't the usual New York sidewalk busking, it felt too quiet, almost delicate. Green-gray eyes, Hudson River eyes, looked up at him. "Hi," he said shyly. "I'm Jack. May I ask about the violin?" "My name's Emily Rivers," she answered softly. "If you have a minute, I'll tell you why I'm here instead of on a stage." They moved to a bench beneath the square's trees. Emily spoke of Bozeman, Montana, of a grandfather who built instruments in a basement workshop. Of a juniper violin that barely survived last summer's wildfire. Charred and cracked, it now needed a $2,000 restoration she couldn't afford. Jack, a graphic designer, not a musician, felt a new world spark inside his spreadsheet routine. Coins were pointless. He had a camera and ideas. "Let's crowdfund," he said. "New York loves a good story more than cold brew." Hope flickered in her eyes. She offered her calloused fingers, and for the first time in months Jack's to-do list felt like the prologue to something larger. Sunday, Union Square became an impromptu studio, black cloth between lampposts, a foil reflector, and latte steam for atmosphere. Emily held the violin as if a breath might turn it to ash. Dramatic shots emerged, street graffiti behind, copper hair before, deep fissures in close-up. That night Jack launched a kick boost page, #Voice from the Ashes, help a Montana violin speak. Local bands, urban bloggers, even a Brooklyn stand-up shared it. By dawn the tally hit $600. In a Blue Bottle cafe they scrolled comments, "Finishing my burrito, adding $5, my dad's a firefighter, here's 20. Emily laughed and wept into a cinnamon-scented napkin. Then came a dig, actress playing poor. Google Emily Rivers pageant 2018. A photo of her in a tiara surfaced, and momentum stalled. "It's your past, not a crime," Jack said. "The internet hunts scandals," she sighed. They recorded an honest video, Emily reading her grandfather's letter, showing the splintered neck. "I sold the crown to start repairs," she admitted. Trust returned, green dollars flowed again. With funding at 40%, Jack proposed a road of bluegrass, Nashville, Memphis, New Orleans. They rented an old Ford Econoline, plastered Ashes Tour down the sides, and headed south along the Appalachians. In Philadelphia they jammed beneath the Ben Franklin Bridge, Emily coaxed a rasping note, the crowd cheered, bills fluttered into the case. Richmond's heat turned to downpour, posters bled, QR codes dissolved. Jack redrew logos on scrap cardboard while Emily poured free coffee for a smile. A boy dropped 4 cents in and whispered, "I want the wood to sing." In Nashville a fiddle player, Joshua Brooks, joined after seeing their TikTok. A rooftop live stream of banjo, broken violin, and whiskey-warm night pushed pledges past 80%. Memphis awaited, luthier Raymond King, whose hands once nursed Elvis Jr.'s guitar, examined the instrument. "Wood bends but remembers," he said, warning that fire-scorched juniper might snap under string tension. Jack documented every shaving of Raymond's chisel for Instagram stories. Followers from Toronto to Odessa sent encouragement. Emily brought muffins from Gus's each morning. Raymond joked the frosting kept his hands steadier than glue. They sketched a future charity tour for wildfire victims, Denver, Salt Lake, Sacramento, Jack mapping the U.S. as a violin silhouette with the route as a red string. A hacker siphoned $300 with the taunt, "Ashes to ashes." Jack's rallying video eclipsed the loss within a day, and the goal finally glowed 100%. "Tomorrow we string her up," Raymond said. "If she cracks, it's over. If she holds, you'll hear the prairie's voice." Morning smelled of varnish, sawdust, and fear. Raymond turned the pegs, each creak sounded like an old stair. First bow stroke, soft but pure D. Emily laughed, tears glimmering. Raymond slid her a handkerchief. The debut would be that very night on Beale Street under neon blues. Posters were printing when Jack noticed the open window and empty case, the violin stolen in 5 minutes. Hashtag bring back the violin exploded. At 1 a.m. a message arrived, $2,000 cash, Old Mississippi Dock. They had none, every cent was in the wood. Jack gathered local musicians for a spur-of-the-moment jam, only $400 came in. Emily asked, "What if we just talk?" At the dock they played a tape of donors' voices, veterans, teachers, that Richmond boy. A thin-masked youth listened, head bowed, and handed over the case. "Thought it was just hype," he murmured. "Now I know." Next evening cameras perched atop Rum Boogie Cafe. The violin bore a tiny new scratch, a souvenir scar. Musicians, bloggers, tourists pressed close. A Latin jazz singer brought burritos hotter than July asphalt. First bow, a luminous A sliced the sultry air. The charred wood sang with a prairie deep, slightly husky timbre. Jack hit record and caught the single tear glittering on Emily's cheek. Applause rolled down the avenue, upper-story windows flung open to listen. Dawn found them by the Mississippi, vanilla coffee in hand. Overnight the video hit 100K views. Denver's Burning Strings Festival sent an invite. So, westward, Emily smiled, fingers on the warm neck. West, wildfire regions, charity tour, Jack nodded, and maybe an album called Voice from the Ashes. He set a tiny juniper wood pendant, carved from leftover scraps, into her palm. A reminder that burnt can still become beautiful. Emily fastened the flame-shaped medallion. "Let this fire light our way, not scorch it." They stood, sunrise mist curling over the river. The Ashes tour van waited, decals now scratched but proud. 1,000 miles, a dozen stages, surely more trials ahead, yet a single, steady chord already resonated between them. Charred wood can sing when touched by faith, and a chance meeting on Union Square can turn a desk-bound designer and a girl with a tin cup into the voice of America, guiding melody from ashes toward new music.